We are officially live only on onedealaway.com. This is Money Matters. My name is Nev, and we are talking crypto today. Yes, we have all kinds of news coming when it comes to crypto, such as what is the future of crypto and where do we think that the Bitcoin is going to go in 2020, 2021, 2022. As you know, we've just entered a brand new bull market ever since the halving, and while Coronius has been having some challenges for many of us, it actually has performed incredibly well for our cryptocurrencies. So we're going to be talking about the impact of all of that stuff. We also have some information about all of this extra, who actually is buying, who is holding, what is going on in the market. We're talking about also there's a lawsuit involving XRP, so you definitely want to be involved with that and learn. We're going to talk about the GDP, which we talked about yesterday, but we're going to talk about how that actually impacts cryptocurrencies. We're going to be talking a little bit about gold and the fact that there are some companies offering gold products inside the crypto and what those are, whether it makes sense or not. We do have a report from Winklevoss twins that is talking about what the new bull run is going to look like and how it's going to be dramatically different than what we've seen in 2017 when Bitcoin hit almost $20,000 for the first time ever. Texas is being poised to do something absolutely amazing, and that should wrap up today's news. As you can see, we're going to be covering all kinds of stuff, and of course, we're going to be discussing what this may mean for you. So, if you are looking for a way to make money, preserve money, potentially get into cryptocurrencies, get out of them, do they make sense, don't they make sense, this show is for you. So, let's do this. And good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday to you. It is officially 1st of August of 2020. My goodness, where did the year go? It is moving super, super fast. So happy weekend to everybody. Happy August. Here comes the dog days of summer, as they call it. And this particular month is going to be incredibly interested for many different things, like schools. Are they going to open or not? Evictions, are they going to happen or not? Will there be a new stimulus package, or are we going to have to wait till September? There's all kinds of stuff that we're going to be learning over this upcoming month, things that we know and we can expect, and of course things that we have no clue of what they're going to do and how they're going to impact us as they come in. And of course, to keep up with all of the news and all of the ways that you too can make money, preserve your wealth, you definitely want to stay tuned on Money Matters Show. We go live every single morning at 7 a.m. only on onedealaway.com. And I want to welcome everybody watching this live. If you're unable to watch this live and you're watching this on YouTube, I welcome you as well. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. It's actually located over there or somewhere. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button. You get notified when the show goes live, which is every single day. And if you like the show and you want to help us help other people, simply click the share button. The YouTube algorithm does everything else and spreads the message, spreads the good news to everybody so that we together can help as many people as possible. So the first news is XRP. Yes, XRP is in a lawsuit and it's talking about whether it has utility or not. So we're going to switch and let's talk. Let me just change the fan thing. Oh, so much better, so much better. It was blowing the wrong direction. It's kind of nice to get a little bit of breeze on this hot summer mornings and hot summer days. We have been experiencing some of the hottest summer we've ever had over here. I don't know where you are, but boy, it feels like, I've been living in the state of Texas, which we're going to talk about Texas over here very, very shortly. And it's going to be in today's episode. So lawsuit, investors can't prove Ripple knew XRP had no utility. It's basically the. So I want to point out the name of the CEO because it's going to play an important part when we continue talking about XRP and what's happening there. His name is Brad Garlinghouse. Okay, you want to remember that piece. Now, according to the court filings, lawyers for Ripple and Garlinghouse have argued plaintiff and XRP investor Bradley Shostak is unable to prove that Ripple misled investors with bullish claims about XRP and sold the token as an unregistered security. So, a lot of times people don't understand that it's not necessarily just what's legal and what's right, it's what you can prove. And I always keep reminding that of myself, my team, and my students. And of course, now I'm reminding you, the audience, to always keep that in mind. It's not necessarily what is right, it's about what you can prove, especially in the court of law, at least here in the United States. Now, of course, it could be different in different places, but that is an important aspect to keep in mind. Now, Sostak is arguing that the XRP has no utility at all whatsoever, and that the original case was started in August of 2019, so a year ago. And then in March, it was amended to include a complaint accusing Garlinghouse of touting XRP to prospective investors while secretly liquidating 67 million tokens from his holdings. That is the piece and the reason why I will be very honest and transparent with you. I used to have XRP because of all of the stuff that they were talking about, they were doing. And then I got a little bit smarter. I started to do my own research, didn't just rely on the news of what was going on. And with that, I had concluded that XRP is not something that I want to hold. The only thing that it does, it provides liquidity to the Ripple stock, and I no longer wanted to pad everybody else's wallets. So I exited and started to play in different markets. But XRP is not one of the cryptos that I hold, and now you know the reasons why. But again, I know that there are many people that are very bullish on the darn thing, and that's perfectly fine. It's a free world, free country. We all get to do what we want, and of course, nothing, absolutely nothing, what I say here in today's show is or should be used as a financial advice. If you need a financial advice, I suggest you find a financial advisor who is licensed and can legally give you financial advice. And also make sure that when you do that, they actually A, know what they're talking about, B, have a lot of experience in whatever they're advising you, C, they're actually doing the thing that they're telling you to do, and D, that they're not just a broker selling you on something and that's how they make money. And the reason I say that is because vast majority of so-called financial advisors, financial planners, all they do is peddle on the products that the company that hires them gives them to go and sell. So you definitely want to be careful and not blindly just take their advice as well. What you want to do is spend a little bit of time, maybe even a little bit of money to learn about different assets, about different classes, about economy, finance, and so on. And then with their sort of knowledge and advice, use your own brain to make a decision of what may make sense for you. One of those ways that you can do and expand your mind is by watching Money Matters, which is why I think you are here anyways. And of course, watch other channels as well. I know many people don't say that, but I know you do it and you should be doing it. You should get different opinions and views. And if you can get conflicting opinions and views, that's even better, because then you go in and you start to understand why does one person believe that crypto is pure gold, so to speak, and why gold is pure gold and should benefit, and why does somebody else believe that crypto is trash and gold is a useless metal that doesn't do anything. You need to understand both the points of view, especially if you're new and don't understand it, so that you can make your own educated opinion and not just rely on some random person out on YouTube, out in public, out on some sort of podium telling you to do X, Y, or Z or XRP. All right. I had to put that in there because I thought it was funny. Ripple knowingly overstated the cryptocurrency's actual utility as a bridge currency to facilitate international payments. And that's exactly what they did. They said, we are the bridge currency that we're going to facilitate the international payments. And while they are working, uh, 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 Ripple is working actually with different companies. I believe they have, or at least they had, a contract with American Express. The whole utilization and stuff of the currency or their crypto is not necessarily there. Not that I can see it. Again, you might have a very different viewpoint and opinion and information, and if you do, please do let me know in the chat or in the comments, and we're going to discuss it. I want to be able to learn different opinions. Remember, I told you I am one of those people that likes to hear different views and opinions so that I can learn. Legal entanglements. In addition to Sostak's case, a firm called Bitcoin Manipulation Abatement filed a lawsuit in U.S. Federal District Court in May, accusing Ripple of similar charges, misleading investors by selling XRP as unregistered security. So there you have it. This is one of those things that will be interesting for you to know and understand. That's just my opinion. And I have just clicked on something and killed one of the news, so I apologize. We won't be delivering that. I will do my best to see if I can find it. But I do want to switch before we continue to take a look at the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market cap. And since we just talked about XRP, you can see it right here. It is still number 3. The price has gone up to 26 cents and the rest. So, and as you can see, it has gone up 8.88% in 24-hour period. Now, what I think might be happening is I know that there is this sort of XRP army, so to speak, of people that are very dedicated to the whole product and they really believe in the project and what it's doing. And that's perfectly fine. And I think they're just going in and buying it. What I also think is happening is that when new investors come in, they go in, they might look at some of this stuff, they look at the top 10 or whatever, and, they just basically go and buy like the first few things without understanding of what different things are and kind of how they behave. As you can see, Bitcoin is up yet again 4.04%. So let's just say 4% to a new high. Well, it's not new high. It's new high in 2020, I guess, since the pandemic and stuff. But it's $11,600. Ethereum is $354, and there are some reports when it comes to Ethereum that the price to be watching out for is $366 to see if it's going to break above or if it's going to bounce off of it. So that's the new sort of ceiling, if you would, or resistance, as some people will call it, for this one. And then if we look at the stuff, one of the things that is kind of interesting is that the crypto.com coin CRO actually has moved up to the 9th position in the whole market cap place, and EOS, which used to be about 4 or 5, has dropped down to number 11. If we go in and take some of the biggest winners, Ampleforth, almost 60% increase in one single day. This is insane. Absolutely insane. This is crazy to me. Reserve rights up 19.8%, Theta 17%, Dogecoin 14%, which is, again, I don't understand that one, but hey, what do I know? Zcash up 10.8, Celsius up 9.9, Bitcoin SV 9.4, Swipe 9.18, XRP 8.8, Aragon, OKB, Blockstack, Quantum, and so on. So these are the folks or the projects that have pumped the most. The currencies that have actually dumped the most. There's quite a few that have gone some, very, very small amounts. The biggest ones are Bancor at almost 12% and Elrond at 10.42%. Then VeChain at 4.16%, Engine at almost 4%, Loopring at 3.68%, Ren at 2.63%, Thor at 2.4%, and then we go down the network. So overall, market on its own is actually not all that horrible. It's actually doing really, really well. Of course, you're going to have some winners, you're going to have some losers, and that is perfectly fine. It does happen, and it is one of those things that is interesting. Now, when we talk about, we just talked about Ampliford and the fact that it has gone up 60%, and I didn't highlight this article because I didn't think I was going to talk about it, but I do have it coming over here, and check this out. This coin supply goes up as its price rises. Can you guess which one it is? If you have been following crypto anything, you do understand that that is Ampliford. Yes, it is a cryptocurrency built with an elastic supply that expands and contracts depending on demand. And basically what it does is that as long as the price goes up, Ampliford actually increases the number of coins that you have. As it goes down, it starts to burn. So it's an interesting piece that is kind of happening, and it's very, very cool and kind of interesting way that is as this project has been created. The total supply is also adjusted through each holder's proportional stake does not vary. The equilibrium price is set to 2019 consumer price index adjusted dollar. So as it goes up, it's like I said, you get more. As it goes down, you get less. And it's a very interesting project that you definitely want to spend a bit more time learning. We'll do some more projects tomorrow when it comes to crypto, and we might indeed talk about Ampliford and whether it makes sense. So I'll do some digging and research, and then we can talk more about Ampliford and kind of how it all works and whether it makes sense for you to potentially go in it or not. Now, one of the things that we can all agree is that the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies have definitely been performing incredibly well, especially the altcoins. And we have news and report that coming from Winklevoss twins that the next Bitcoin bull run will be dramatically different. And they are founders of Gemini, which is the sort of a competitor to Coinbase, which we're also going to talk about today. And it's an exchange where you can go in. It's like an on-ramp that you can use your fiat to get into crypto. The next Bitcoin run will be dramatically different. Today, there's exponentially more capital, human capital, infrastructure, and high-quality projects than in 2017. Not to mention the very real specter of inflation that all fiat regimes are going forward. Buckle up. Various data points hint at a significant increase in the amount of capital held by investors in the cryptocurrency market. Now, here's one of the things that I do want to point out. In 2017, when people started piling on into the Bitcoin and, of course, everything else, because as Bitcoin became fairly expensive, then they would jump into something that is a bit cheaper because, you know, if you're putting in, I don't know, $1,000, but Bitcoin is at 20,000, you're only buying a small share. For many individuals, especially who are new, you know, having a fraction of something feels kind of weird. So you looked at things and you were like, hey, you know, Ethereum is only 900. I'm going to go and jump in on that and at least hold one of something as opposed to a small fraction of something else. They would go in and jump into EOS or XRP or whatever else was. But everything kind of lifted itself up. Now, vast majority of the ICOs and things that were actually pushed forward in 2017, excuse me, didn't really have much of like value behind it. There was not much happening because those that know how to program and could figure it out very quickly were rolling out coins and ICOs, and they were benefiting on the information and the news and the sort of this fear and greed component that all of us have. So people were jumping in and buying. Of course, when it all dumped, it all went away, and many of these still to this date haven't recovered, and many of them don't have any utility whatsoever, any purpose for existence or anything like that. They don't basically do anything. They just collected your money and went away. However, right now, what we're seeing with all of the developments, these are actually projects and products that actually deliver stuff. They actually have utility. They're doing things. They're following stuff. For example, Tether. You can love it. You can hate it. It doesn't really matter to me. but we can all agree that there's a utility to the whole thing, that it's actually pegged to the US dollar. Now, I don't like the fact that it's centralized because somebody can manipulate it. I don't like the fact that they have, like just created and printed all of this stuff. Allegedly, every tether is attached to a physical US dollar, but we don't still know if that is actually true or not. It could be. I don't know if that's true. If you already know that, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. I am happy to read it. And I do read actually all of the comments. So if you want to put them in, by all means, do so. I do read and respond to them. But so that's one of the things, but it does have a utility, right? And so we're seeing that happening more and more coming into the crypto space. Now, there are two metrics primarily show that more money could be involved in the latest Bitcoin rally. First, the market capitalization of Tether, which we just talked about, has surpassed 10 billion US dollars. Second, the assets under management, AUM, by Grayscale Investment recently achieved a new high. And a rapid rise in the market cap of Tether could indicate that more money is waiting to deploy on crypto exchanges. Here's what ends up happening, y'all. Folks will go in, they take their US dollar and they put it in Tether. Now, Tether is keeping 1 to 1 to dollars, so whether you keep Tether or whether you keep dollar, it's exactly the same thing. Not exactly the same thing, but it is exactly the same thing. What they will do is they will hold on to the stable coin, Tether, and then they will wait to sort of see if it makes sense and when it makes sense to jump into the markets and trade it. So when we see some of that stuff, when we see a large amount of crypto going into the exchanges, you can expect that major moves are going to happen. They're either looking to buy or sell. So we can see and expect that the prices are going to move up and down. That's one of those things that you definitely want to pay attention to, okay? And so that's one of the positives that they're saying that, hey, so many people holding Tether, there's a potential that they will actually exchange into other cryptocurrencies. Within the last quarter, the assets under management in Grayscale suite of product hit an all-time high of $5.1 billion. And you can see since the inception, I mean, there was nothing happening in 13. Dead, kind of started to rise up. It went up in 17 December when everything was going up. It then kind of came down, crashed quite a bit, sort of settled down in 2018, and it went up, and it's been going up. As you can see, we have surpassed the 2017 levels long time ago. Capital held by institution and retail traders continue to increase substantially. Office of the Controller of the Currency of the U.S., OCC, is now allowing banks to provide and operate crypto custodial solutions, which we talked about not that long ago. Now, this essentially is a green light for financial institutions in the U.S. to get involved in the cryptocurrency market. If Bitcoin approaches a new bull market, the improvement sentiment around the entire industry could benefit BTC adoption and its value. Projects and companies in both the Bitcoin and crypto markets are seemingly increasing in quality. And I agree with that stuff. Better projects, increased capital, improving infrastructures, all resulting in boosted confidence levels among Bitcoin and I would argue crypto investors. And this is raising sentiment across the entire sector. So this is one of those things that I think it's very interesting for you to understand. Now, we've been talking about the fact that we're having folks and individuals and money is coming into crypto. And my, of course, curious mind said, well, who is buying, right? Who is coming in and buying this stuff? So here we go. Maybe you're asking the same thing. So here we go. We have the news saying who is actually buying this stuff. The Pioneer cryptocurrency broke its $11,000 resistance earlier this week. And as you've seen, we're at 11,600. If these growth rates are maintained, Bitcoin current daily volume would need fewer than 4 years of growth to exceed a daily volume of all U.S. equities and fewer than 5 years to exceed the daily volume of all U.S. bonds. Now, U.S. equities and U.S. bonds are, relatively speaking, large market. They're much larger than crypto. And just yesterday, we actually used a visual piece to talk about all of this stuff. So if you have missed yesterday's episode in the YouTube channel, if you click on the Money Matters tab, you will actually get yesterday's delivery, and you'll be able to see what do we mean by this stuff. Like, how big can this be? Now, one thing I do want to point out, this is obviously my narrative of the whole thing, is I don't think that the growth is going to continue at the same pace and same level, because nothing is that constant and consistent with nature, in life, and definitely not in the markets. It all goes up and down. So we can see this rate, we could see this rate actually increase, and that wouldn't shock me one bit. But we could also see it dump. And so we could see this sort of very bullish thing that it goes up like crazy, and then it kind of dumps. So do expect that some of the stuff of what they're saying, they're kind of keeping it at the same rate. Well, nothing is at the same rate. It's kind of same thing when we talk about economy. If you ever took an Econ 101 or whatever it was called in your school or college or university, they always say, assuming all things equal. Well, things are never equal, right? But you have to utilize some sort of boundary to understand what could or could not happen. $67 billion in crypto purchases this year. 15% of American adults now own Bitcoin or other altcoins, and that is the new all-time high. The new investors on average obtained over 67 billion worth of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in 2020, an average of about $4,000 per person. However, of course, this is not, this is just an average. Some people might have bought $100, some people might have bought, $100,000 worth, so it's very different. Now, here is kind of who is adopting. Here's the interesting piece that I have found. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit and see if this makes a bit of difference in your world. But you can see right over here that Turkey, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, and South Africa are the top 5 countries that are actually consumers are holding cryptos. Now, one of the things, if you've been paying attention to the news and the conversations we've had this week alone about some of the challenges with the banking sector, with the financial sector, with the currencies and those kinds of things, you will recognize quite a few of these names. What do we know about Argentina? Well, their money is starting to go through some major financial challenges. It has been an ongoing challenge, but right now they're going through some major ongoing challenges with their crypto, with their fiat, not crypto, with their fiat currency, which is that government issued money, right? That paper stuff that we use, the dollar, the peso, the yen, that kind of stuff. The fiat is actually undergoing a bit of an inflation. It's actually more than just a bit, and it's rising. So it makes sense. Turkey, we also talked about the same challenges that they're experiencing. Brazil has been struggling with it, as has Colombia, as has South Africa. Of course, U.S. comes as number 6. Now, we're not experiencing that, but we are definitely poised to potentially go in that direction. Then we have Mexico, China, Indonesia, and then it goes down from there. And then China, of course, we talked about, was it yesterday? Just yesterday or day before yesterday? Sorry, my mind doesn't always remember, the timeline stuff. But we just definitely talked about the banking sector and some of the challenges there. The demographics, so who's buying it? The top demographics is high-income, well-educated men. Nearly 8 in 10 of 2020 crypto buyers were men with an average annual income of $130,000. 4 in 10 have a master's degree or higher. 70% have bachelor's degree or higher. And this came out of a survey. Next are millennials between ages 25 and 40 and Gen Xers. 21% of individuals also hold a Bank of America account held some cryptocurrencies, and they're saying that this is probably coming because Bank of America has been so positive when it came to allowing folks to purchase stuff. And as you can see right here, this is an image provided by Reddit. It's actually the Bank of America that is saying we're changing some terms to your credit card agreement. And of course, they often do that stuff. They send it your way. And here is one of the things that is very interesting here. Types of transactions. This section titled Types of Transactions has been revised to clarify that cryptocurrency is considered a cash equivalent treated as cash advance. So an interesting piece for you to know. Women made up 22% of all survey, and minorities like African Americans and Hispanic with 23% of current crypto investors. Now, one thing that I don't have the article right here in front of me, but I do have an article that I have read. I don't have it for you, but I have read an article that the number of women jumping into the blockchain and the crypto has been on the increase, and there's many women that are starting not just to invest in cryptocurrencies but also start working on the projects. Tech has been traditionally, for many decades, very traditionally male dominated piece, and it's super exciting for me personally that so many women are starting to kind of wake up, jump into the tech sector, jump into the crypto, and we're seeing more and more women starting to take charge and control of their own money. So I want to congratulate all of the women out there that are taking their financial freedom to the new level and saying, no more, I'm no relying on no man, no woman, nobody. I want to go out there, I want to learn this stuff, I want to be able to benefit. And one thing that I will tell you that is very interesting, some of my best students, absolutely best students, are women. They take action, they follow, they study, they learn, they connect, and they're absolutely amazing. And you know what? I do have high hopes and high beliefs. Always had respect for women, and I believe that they can do many things way better than men. Sorry, guys, it's the truth. It's the truth. Their brains just operate better. They see things that we don't. Unfortunately, our little male minds and bodies are troublesome because of the thing called testosterone that makes us go a little bit stupid and crazy. We get easily excited. We take way more risks than we ever should. And women are much more cool-headed, calm, collected. They take a look at the stuff. They're, evaluate the things, and they don't have, they do have some testosterone, but they don't have as much as men, right, comparatively speaking. And so they will take a look at the stuff, and so they don't have this crazy thing that is driving them to be nuts sometimes. And they tend to make much better decisions when it comes to money. So my congrats to all of the women who are stepping up and doing stuff. Welcome to One Deal Away. Welcome to Money Matters. Like I said, my best students, my absolutely best students are women. And interestingly enough, I actually have more female students than male. Another piece that is very interesting as well to me. Even though more men jump into these markets, right? Jump into the trading, jump into buying stuff much faster than women because they're smarter and more cautious. More women actually spend time studying and learning about the whole thing so that they are smarter when they go and decide to do this. Now, the article continues and it's going to drive this point home incredibly well. And if you're a guy and stop watching this right now, I am sorry that your ego is so big that you can't take it, that there are women who might be smarter than you. So there we go. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. So just 30% of upcoming crypto investors in the survey consider themselves very financially literate in comparison to 54% of those who already hold cryptocurrencies. This could cause scams to prey on those individuals. This is very important. Many people jumping into the markets right now, whether it's equities, bonds, real estate, derivatives, options, which is form of derivatives, I guess, and synthetics, cryptos, all of this stuff have not enough knowledge about finance, and they're not as financially literate as they can be. They're just blindly jumping in, and that is hugely problematic because when you don't know things, right, and you don't know what you don't know, you have no clue what's going on, it's very easy for others who do understand to take advantage of you. Now, if you're watching this and you don't know much about crypto and you want to learn a whole lot more about crypto, One Deal Away is sponsored an absolutely free Crypto 101 course. Absolutely free. You won't pay a dime, a penny, a fraction of XRP you won't pay. All I want to do is give you knowledge and information so that you can learn what this is, how it works, how to evaluate it, what different wallets exist out there, what is this whole thing, blockchain, just to be able to get an understanding of this market and the beauty and the benefits so that you, when you decide to put money in it, you can actually benefit a great deal. Now we're going to continue over here, but I will tell you one interesting thing, because many people think that all of these scams only happen in crypto, and that's the only place where it happens. That is absolutely not true. It happens everywhere in every market. Whenever there is money and potential for somebody to lose or gain money or take money from those that don't know, right? Scams will exist. And you got to get smarter than the average scammer. Not that long ago, and you probably, as you're watching this live, I went and got a haircut, right? So I'm sitting there in the barber shop, mask and all. Anyways, he's going along, and he's, sharing some stuff, how he's learning a lot on TikTok, I guess, of the folks. And he was like, yeah, I'm learning a lot about real estate. I'm like, oh, really? Well, tell me more about it. And, he's watching. He's like, yeah, well, they're saying how you can go over there and, like, tap on somebody's door and buy their home, or, like, get it under contract and get it for, like, way discounted price. And then I'm like, yep, you're talking about wholesaling. He's like, yeah, I am. And I think I'm going to do it. I'm like, yeah, not the market right now. So people will get you into the stuff, whether it makes sense or not. And a lot of times, a lot of these gurus that are out there on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on, whatever different platforms, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, many of them may or may not have as much experience, right? And, they might have learned something. They may or may not have done it. Who knows, right? They sit there and they brag, hey, I just made $100,000 without doing much of anything. Look at me, I did this. Look at me, I did that. And, I can claim all of those things, but they may not be true, right? And so you can't prove it. And one of the things that I also want to keep in mind for those of you who are brand new is that you don't know if it's also true, even if it shows up with the proof. Here's what I mean by that. In real estate, there are things called title agencies. When I go and decide I want to buy something, I go and deposit the money, and it goes and sits in the escrow with the title agency. If I decide that I want to actually step away from the whole thing, it's very, very easy for that money to come back to me, because it has to. That deposit comes back to you as the buyer if you back out for whatever reason. Now, when the check shows up my way, whose name is on the check? Well, it's the escrow and title agency. So I can go out there, I can put a piece of paper and say, look, I just got $10,000 from the title agency, for closing on the deal that I only paid, $5 or whatever, right? Like whatever they end up making up. So you can't rely on that either, right? When they go and flash the dollar bills and stuff, it could be fake. And again, I think it's quite tacky to do that, personally speaking. I could be wrong, but I think it's super tacky for you to do that stuff, for people to do that stuff, right? So anyways, you want to be very, very careful. And speaking of real estate, at noon today, we're actually going to go live yet again to talk about some very cool strategies that exist within real estate market today. And it's not wholesaling, and it actually works in today's market. So if you want to make money in today's market where everybody is buying, and you don't want to buy at the top of the market and get into the bids, you definitely want to join me at 1 o'clock today, only on onedealaway.com/live, where I'm going to be sharing some strategies. Okay, now that we're done with that stuff, let's go in and talk a bit more about crypto. What a break. Coinbase pushes DeFi narrative by considering listing Balancer Curve and Ampleford. AMPL, we just talked about it, y'all. We just talked about it. But there's extra currencies that they're actually thinking about listing. Let's find out what all of those are. Coinbase has become the latest company to join in on the DeFi craze by announcing the potential listing of 19 new digital assets on its platform. And here we go. You might recognize some of these, and if you don't recognize all of them, that is okay. You can go in and learn more about it. the projects such as Balancer, Curve, WBTC, which is Wrapped BTC, Wrapped Bitcoin, um, Ampliford, TBTC could get listed on Coinbase if they manage to meet the company's technical standards and comply with applicable laws. Coinbase is also considering listing, Ample for Band Protocol, Blockstack, Curve, Fetch AI, Flaxcoin, Helium, Hedera, Hashgraph, Kava, Melon, Ocean Protocol, Paxos Gold, Reserve Rights, The Graph, Theta, and UMA. Um, while this could have a short-term negative effect, causing major volatility for the tokens, the projects could see a long-term benefit from being listed on the platform as big and as well regulated as Coinbase. Now, one thing that you should know if you don't already is that if when a project lists on Coinbase, that they often have an ability they just sort of skyrocket. Now, that skyrocketing may not last for forever, but that's what typically ends up happening. So if you're holding any of these cryptos right now, potential congrats, because we don't know, but it does have a good potential that it will go up. Now, one of the things to also keep in mind is that even if the company decides to list these projects, it might not be available to all of Coinbase users due to different regulations in regions where Coinbase operates out of. So that's one of the things that is very, very interesting. The other part that I also wanted to share here with you today, I'm just looking to make it a little bit bigger so that it makes a bit more sense, is an information from the Glassnode. Glassnode is basically gives an insights of kind of what's happening on the cryptos and stuff, and it's a cool place you can go and check out and learn a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, they also sell some products as well, and you're welcome to go and buy them. I gain nor lose anything if you decide or don't decide to do much of anything with them. I just wanted to share the resource for you right now. And so you know how we've heard that, and yesterday I covered it, Bitcoin and cryptos and stuff like that is still very, very small markets. And these DeFi projects, altcoins as they're known, which are the things like we talked about, the Ampliford, the Kava, the Kyber network, that kind of stuff, they tend to have a very, very small market cap, relatively speaking, right? And some of them have market cap that is less than 10 billion. While it may sound like 10 billion is a big number to you and I, it's really not for projects like this. When you go to coin market cap, right? And let me go actually to that. I don't know why I killed it, but I did. Let me go to that so that you can actually see what I'm talking about. So right here, you see the market cap, right? And we can actually sort by it, right? And you will see that, obviously the biggest one by far is Bitcoin, Ethereum. But we could also sort, and you can see that some of them have super tiny, right? Thorchain, for example, has only $73 billion dollars, which is nothing when you compare to something like, let's not even go to Bitcoin. Let's just go to XRP, which is what? It's 73 million that has 12 billion. So you want to pay kind of attention to that piece. The other piece you also want to pay attention to is the number of whales. Now, if you don't know what whales are basically the individuals or institutions that hold large amount of a particular crypto. And the problem is when one party holds a large amount, say that I hold, 80% of Bitcoin, for example. I don't, but say that I did. If I decide to go in and dump all of my holdings, right, the price is going to tank. It has to, because so much supply has been dumped onto the market and demand cannot keep up with it. This is important piece. Now, why do I bring this up right now? Well, because something interesting is happening inside the Bitcoin space, right? And here you go. This is the whales, and you will see the BTC whale dominance and exchange dominance over the 5 years. And you will see that the whales, back in 2015, there was about almost 50% of the holders, right? Then you have everybody else in this orange piece. But you will see something interesting here, that slowly the whales have actually been going down. And as more people jump in over here, right, more adopters kind of come in, the proportion of the whales to everybody else is going to continue to come down. The other piece that is also interesting is that the exchanges have actually increased their portion of the share of what's going on within it. Now, I don't know if all of the exchanges actually hold BTC or if individuals are holding BTC on exchanges in order to go in and trade with the whole thing. So that's one of the pieces that you want to also understand and pay attention to. The other piece that you also want to see is that wrong thing. The other piece you want to see is this particular chart right here, and that is the Bitcoin exchange withdrawals by whales. As you can see that the number of the withdrawals went up in March, and it has steadily been going down. As I always say when I look at a chart, if this was a stock, I would short it. So there you go. That's an interesting piece. So if you want to go to Glassnode, there's all kinds of information. You can definitely go out, read about it, geek out about it, and really kind of play around with the whole thing. Here's another chart that says the number of Bitcoin whales versus Bitcoin balance on exchanges, and you will see that the number of hold on, this is super tiny, y'all. Sorry. Number of entities with balance and Bitcoin balance on exchanges. So you will see that the number of whales is kind of up here. The number of whales on exchange is super down. So we can expect that they are not looking to dump right now, which is kind of interesting and very, very, very bullish for crypto. Now, before we end, I do want to point out that there's a couple more things I want to share. One of that is Forbes article is talking about, and it's coming out really wonky. My apologies. Is listed a new thing that is talking about the new product coming from a Silicon Valley company called Uphold that is announcing that you can buy gold with UPXAU, which basically, it's an Ethereum. I believe it's an ERC20 token. I didn't do much research, but it's on Ethereum blockchain. It is audited by security firm CertIC, and it's basically they're contracting with the government of Western Australia that when you buy one UPXAU, you're also buying one ounce of gold, but you don't get the physical thing. The gold is held within the Perth Mint, and the Mint issues gold certificate. One token equals one certificate, which equals 1 ounce. So 1 to 1, 1, 1. Now, one of the things to also be very careful and mindful with this thing, that while I think it's kind of cool that the product exists, I don't know that I'm crazy about it for one reason. A, unless you're in Australia, how the heck are you going to get your gold, right? B, it's being held by a third party somewhere, and you get this thing, certificate and stuff. And while I think we could probably trust Perth Mint better than, Joe Schmo, it's one of those things that I don't know. It's just an interesting piece to me that it's kind of weird. And then of course UPXAU is going to issue you also a credit card that you can use to basically withdraw cash and spend money in it. I think it's a cool project, but for me it's one of those things I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. There's it's a similar concept to me as like buying an ETF or something like that in a gold. I'm not crazy about those things, but again, let me know what you think. I thought it was a cool project, an interesting project, but not something that I am personally like, ooh, this is the greatest thing since the sliced bread. And final news that I want to share here with you has to do with state of Texas. Now, Texas has been news for winning all kinds of things. Now, there have also been a news for having high amount of COVID cases, so not super exciting for them on that piece, but as you will notice that many people from Silicon Valley had first moved to Austin, Texas. We've seen the news that many businesses and companies have moved to Texas. We've seen the news that the Tesla is going to build a new manufacturing factory in Texas. And now we see that the Texas is settling up to becoming the next blockchain capital. And state is having the obviously the second largest geographical area and the second largest economy, state economy in U.S. right after California. And they have recently formed its own blockchain committee known as the Texas Blockchain Council, and they want to be basically the next sort of place where people can go in and work in crypto. And they're saying, hey, if Wyoming can do it, so can we. And this is a super large economy, right? It has $1.9 trillion economy, which could be really, really good for Texas. Now, here is the states that level of engagement with the blockchain technology by state. I'm going to pause over here, give you an opportunity to take a look into this stuff while I take some water. You can always pause on the video watching on YouTube, and then we'll continue. So, there you go. If you need to pause, pause now. We're moving on. One of the things that they're basically saying that there's still a lot of legal clarity that has to happen in the state of Texas, because without it, it's very problematic. So we need to understand, what is crypto considered under Texas law? Is it taxable? Is it not taxable? If it's taxable, at what level? All those different components need to be first identified before that can be decided. Now, is it going to be allowed to be custodially held or not? It is estimated that only 20 to 25% is held in custodial manner, and it's 75 to 80% are held in self-custody, which is huge. And remember, we just talked about the fact that there's many people who might be in self-custody, but they are not considering themselves financially literate, which means that there's some potential problems. So having a custodial account could be a bit more beneficial for those folks if they don't want to learn, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but then again, we're all different. Now, that's one of those pieces they're talking about. Now, one of the things that is very interesting about Texas that it should not be missed at all is that Texas does have a cheap mining power. It has very, very cheap access to electricity. And of course, in October of 2019, Chinese cryptocurrency hardware manufacturer Bitmain opened what they called world's largest facility for Bitcoin mining in Rockdale, Texas. German tech company Northern Data followed right after that, saying they are building mining factory as well, also in Rockdale, Texas. Real estate investors, pay attention. Rockdale, Texas. Maybe potentially. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying research it. Northern Data plans to devote a full gigawatt to crypto mining. Now, right now, Bitcoin's network is currently using just over 5 gigawatts of power. So, if it's just over 5 and they want a full a gigawatt, that means they're trying to capture a fifth of the entire marketplace. So anyways, you also know that mining used to come predominantly from China. About 65% of mining was coming to China. Right now, that number has actually lowered to about 50%, and 14% of that is now coming out of United States. So you will see there's this whole battle happening between U.S. and China when it comes to technology, money, global reach, blah, 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 right? All of the stuff. Crypto is no different. And it is a huge thing that everybody should be paying attention to. And of course, we are here on Money Matters. So there you go. Hopefully you have liked and enjoyed the show. Smash that like button right now, if nothing else, for almost an hour worth of delivery of solid information, education, and news. If you are, again, interested, we're going to go and jump in a chat in a moment. But if you are, of course, interested to learn more about a very cool strategy when it comes to investing in real estate, you definitely want to join me at noon today. So in about 4 hours, we're going to go live yet again, only on onedealaway.com/live. And I'm going to share with you special strategies for free of how you can actually benefit from this insano market of what's going on. So YouTube, thanks for watching. Do subscribe. Do hit the like button. Do hit the bell button. I will see you tomorrow unless you show up live today at noon. Until then, stay forever money blessed. And do remember, you are only one deal away.